Okay, we're going to do our standing pose sequence. So, you should have done the warm-ups and the Surya Namaskars A and B before you go into this. You should never go into these poses cold, okay? It's a surefire way of pulling a muscle. So, we're going to work into these poses coming from downward dog today. So what I want you to do is come to the front of your mat, have your block, in case you cannot get your hands down to the floor, and you might need it for a couple of other poses, okay? So have your block ready. I'm going to put it over here on the right side of the mat since we're going to start with the right leg first. Okay, so we're going to raise our arms up, and then we're going to fold over with a flat back, remember from the hip flexors, not from the spine, and we're going to put our hands down the mat or on our block. Then we're going to inhale up, exhale, fold. And then we're going to step back in the plank, and then we're going to come in a downward dog. Okay? And then I just want you to remember downward dog. Feet, hips distance apart. Hips rising up towards the sky. Our feet and hands are evenly reaching down into the mat. If you can't get your heels down, don't worry about it. Eventually that'll come. And remember, you can always bicycle pedal it to start creating that link. One heel down, one heel up. Okay? So when you can, we are going to come back to center, making sure your ears line up with your arms. And then you're going to bring your feet together in the center. Then we're going to raise our right leg up, and we're going to bend, and then bring it through, and then bring it through between our hands. And then I want you to step your back foot down, so your toes are pointing towards the side of the mat. Our heels are lined up. And we're going to spiral our arms up, and we're going to come into Warrior Two. Now see, I already widened my stance because I could tell that my knee was going to go past my ankle. Now in Anusara Yoga, they do have you go past, but you have to have a really strong leg, really good healthy knees. So I don't want you to do that in my poses. What I would much rather have you do is have when you can, get your leg as parallel to the mat as you can. Your knee stays over your ankle and you see those first two toes. Now remember to listen to your knees. If your knee hurts when you go down too far, stand back up, shorten up your stance, and this is fine. You work from here. You have to start where your body tells you where to start, and it's perfect wherever that is. Okay, don't, when I hurt, like I said before, I hurt my knee really bad. I probably should have gone to the doctor, but I listened to it, and I listened to it when I started doing yoga again, and it taught me what it needed, and it taught me how it needed to be healed. So listen to your body and pay attention to what it's telling you. It's so important. So we're going to do our stance again, making sure I can see those two toes. I'm going to bring my hands up, one hand reaching towards my back foot, my other reaching towards my front foot. I am reaching down through this back foot. It's my anchor foot. It's like my third hand. And I'm pushing this foot down into the floor. It keeps me balanced in this pose, okay? And I'm going to bring my arms up, and I'm going to bring my right shoulder forward, my left shoulder back, which helps me kind of square off my hips with the side of the mat. And then I'm going to find my drishti point, which is going to be my middle finger of my front hand. Our drishti point is our focal point. And you focus on that and just breathe. And then I want you to straighten out your right leg, your front leg. And then you're going to shift your hips. Shift them over to the left. And then this is where you might need your block, okay? Now some of you might only be able to come down to here, and that's fine. So you can lean down to this spot, okay? It's not the same as when we're doing Uttanasana, where you won't get length. You will get some length here because your body's not worried about you falling in this position. If you can, what you're going to do is you're going to put your hands out to the side, and you're going to bring your right hand down, right hand down towards your ankle. I was looking for my block. Now, if you can't get down to your ankle, you can put your hand on your block. And remember, you have 3 different heights to work with. So figure out which height is right for you in this moment. And so we're just going to stand here. Now, part of the reason why you want to use this block is a lot of people think, oh, yay, I can get down to my ankle, but they can't get their arm up. They can only get their arm to here. You want to create this openness in your chest. So it's not just about your leg here. It's also about creating this openness throughout the side of your body. And this is why it's so important to use that block, okay? And then if you can, you're going to look up towards the ceiling. And you're just going to breathe. If not, just look straight ahead. And then we're going to rise up. Now, these straight-legged poses are really great if you have any knee problems. And sometimes you should try to maybe do that before you go into any lunges, okay? Now we're going to go back down into a lunge. And here, some of you might want to just rest here on your thigh, okay? And this is a great place to do this pose. And it'll start creating openness in your hip. If you can, we're going to go into Utthita Parshvakonasana, where you're going to put your hand down here on the mat, and then you're going to raise your arm up again. And this is a fantastic hip opener. It really works your hip pretty deeply in this pose, and you might start to feel some burning sensation going on. So don't feel you have to hold it as long as I am holding it. Just do what you can do, and then you can come up, straighten out your leg a little bit, and then go back into it if you wish to. Okay? And then if you can, you're going to bring your left hand down to the mat or onto a block. Don't ever forget to use that block, because you can also do that. And you're going to spiral to the right. And I'm now looking to the right, raising my right arm up towards the ceiling. I'm actually looking up towards the ceiling right now. And I'm reaching down through my back foot, which is still anchoring me and helping me maintain my balance. And then when you're done, bring your hand to the mat, come back up, straighten out your leg, and let's turn towards the side of our mat. And here you want your feet pointing directly towards the sides of your mat. I want you to take your hands, interlace your hands behind you, bring your shoulder blades in towards one another, and we're going to fold over, dropping our head down towards the mat, and let your arms drop wherever they may. This is one of those poses that is really great to work with gravity. And when you're in this pose, you want both of your feet really firmly rooted down into the floor. Don't just stay on the outside edges. Try to get, evenly distributed weight. You want to soften up your back muscles and bring your belly muscles in and up towards your spine. Now, here's a trick for creating length in your hamstrings. You tighten up your quadriceps. And when you tighten up your quadriceps, your hamstrings have to relax, which can create a little bit deeper of a stretch. Now I want you to come up with a straight back. Don't come up with a bent back. Come up with a straight one. And now we're going to turn our legs out. So our feet are on the diagonal. And we're going to put our fingers on the inside of our knees. And then we're going to bring our right shoulder over towards our left knee. And then our left shoulder over towards our right knee. And do this a few times, pushing on your knees, gently, kind of pushing away. So we're creating openness again in our hips. Okay? And now go ahead and turn your feet, again pointing towards the side of the mat. Here you might need your block. So if you do, just put your block directly underneath where your heart is. Okay? And then you can come down and fold down. And you want your shoulders to be, your elbows to be about hips, shoulders width apart, and pointing directly towards the back of the mat. Your hands are pointing towards the side of your mat. And then if you can, you eventually bring your head down to the mat. All forward bends are really great for the intestinal tract. And they help boost your immune system. Now come up, put your hands on your hip, and come up with a straight back. And now we're going to turn over our left foot. So our left foot now is pointing towards the front of the mat. Our back foot's pointing towards the side. You're going to lean into your lunge to wherever you feel comfortable with. Okay? Make sure you can see those first two toes, your knees going out to the side. Bring your hands up. Your left hand's pointing to the front, left hand pointing towards the back. Find your drishti point. Bring the left shoulder forward, right shoulder back, and just breathe. Now we're going to straighten that front leg, shift our hips to the right. You might need your block here, so go ahead and put it on the pinky side of your foot, and then you're going to bring your hands out to the side, and you're either going to come down to your block or to your ankle, and you're going to raise your right arm up towards the ceiling and look up at the ceiling, creating the openness. And this, just breathe. This pose is called Trikonasana. Means triangle pose. Now you're going to come back up, bend into your lunge. Remember here you can stay here, or if you want to, you can come down onto your block and raise your right arm up, or you can put your hand down on the mat, keeping your right arm up, and breathe. This is called Uttita Parsvakonasana. It's a fantastic hip opener. So if you have very stiff hips, this is a good one to work in. And then when you're ready, you can put your right hand on the block, and then or on the floor, and then you're going to twist to the left, looking up or directly to the side, rooting down through that back foot. Bring our hands down, and then we're going to bring our left foot back into plank, and then tuck that tailbone in towards your knees, chaturanga, all the way down to the mat, and go ahead and rest in prostration.